Full disclosure, I was going to post my review of Friday the 13th Part 3 today, but I forgot to pack my Shout Factory Ultimate Collection box set and my stuff for my trip home to Ohio for Thanksgiving, so instead I'll check out the recently released Friday the 13th fan film, Never Hike Alone, The Ghost Cut. Happy leftovers, everybody. Welcome back to ML Miller Frights, a part of the Kings of Horror Network. I'm ML Miller. While you might be watching this video on the Kings of Horror Network, I urge you to click over to my ML Miller Frights page and give it a like, share with your buddies across the electronic superhighway, click subscribe to this channel, and don't forget to ring that bell for notifications. Never Hike Alone, The Ghost Cut, a Friday the 13th fan film anthology, is directed by Vincente DiSante and Rene Rivas, and it was written by Vincent DiSante and Nathan McLeod, based on characters created by Victor Miller, Sean S. Cunningham, Ron Kurtz, and Tom McLaughlin. Yes, I did review Never Hike in the Snow just a few weeks ago, but since the folks at Womp Stomp Films went above and beyond by slicing all three of their Never Hike Alone films together into one 82-minute film and called it The Ghost Cut, I figured it would be a good chance for me to look at what filmmaker Vincent DiSante is trying to do with his in-the-works six-part epic fan film and how it all plays laced together in one anthology. When I saw Never Hike Alone, I really liked a lot of it. My one frustration was that I felt the inclusion of Tommy Jarvis, played by returning actor Tom Matthews, was kind of hokey and felt shoehorned in at the last minute in the final scene. Never Hike in the Snow seems as if it were building off of Never Hike Alone and utilized Matthews as Tommy in a much more interesting way that made him feel more as a player in the overall story. Because I watched the two short films months apart from one another, I really didn't understand the timeline linking the two films together. With The Ghost Cut, the connection between the two films is made clear, as Never Hike in the Snow takes place before Never Hike Alone, with DiSante's short film Disappear, another Friday the 13th fan film, beginning this anthology. Seeing all three of these shorts laid out in this way clarifies the storyline the filmmaker is trying to communicate, as it is also linked together with news reports filling in the gaps. Let's look at each installment and how they fit together. Disappear is the type of short film you'll find a lot of if you search for Friday the 13th fan films on YouTube. It's basically a three-person kill sequence set to a slow jam called Disappear that fits well with the sun glimmering across Crystal Lake. The short really does set the tone for the entire anthology. It communicates that it's going to feature a lot of Jason, some stylized sequences of slow-mo, and some brutally choreographed kill sequences. I like the choice of music, though it isn't Manfredini, but it contrasts well with the carnage and the serene setting. This first segment establishes the essentials. Crystal Lake is abandoned, its only occupant is Jason Voorhees, and he will decimate anyone who enters his land. Next up in the anthology is Never Hike in the Snow, which I reviewed a few weeks ago when it premiered. It tells the tale of a bored kid new to the area who decides to take a hike around a nearby lake. That lake is, as we already established, Jason's. And the kid finds out soon enough. What sets this apart is that the whole thing is set in the snow, a setting the studios have shown interest in using in the next Friday the 13th feature, or at least that's what rumors say. Jason looks good in the snow. He's got the headgear for it, definitely. This is not the lumbering oaf or stiff zombie. The Jason in this segment, and in every other one of them in this anthology, is a much savvier and more territorial monster. We also get into what Jason does when he's not killing trespassers, which is that he sort of powers down and stares at his mother's head on a pedestal the whole time. This adds a downright creepy layer to the Voorhees mythos that I like a whole lot. Vincent DiSante is not only the writer and director of this series, but also proves to be imposing and full of menace as the man behind the mask, Jason Voorhees. There's definitely anger behind his kills, almost as if he is fed up with the trespassers at this point and crankier because of it. The only criticism I have about the look of Jason is that his hands look a little too much like thick gloves. They're supposed to be gray rotted flesh, but they're really just a bit too bulky. And you can really see that in the close-up shots of Jason gripping things and grabbing things. I'd have preferred they go with the gloved look found in parts 6 and 8, but that's a tiny gripe on an otherwise stellar look and performance of our favorite slasher. Never Hike in the Snow also reminds viewers that Officer Rick Colon never did get to take on Jason or use that red dot ya banger he's got holstered to his hip. The interactions between the new sheriff, Rick, played by Vincent Gustafaro, and Tommy, Matthews, are fun, and I look forward to more scenes of them butting heads in future installments. Tommy Jarvis, Matthews, is given a bigger role in this segment as he vandalizes a police car and attempts to warn people of the horrors of Crystal Lake. It's kind of cool that Tommy has become this crazy Ralph in this story, being sort of a kook who bothers the police and the populace with tales of doom. Matthews and Gustafaro deliver solid performances, and they make the whole film feel more legit and less of a fan-made flick. The final segment is the first one that was made, Never Hike Alone. It's the longest segment of the bunch and is paced much more patiently than the rest of the shorter films. A hiker with a YouTube show decides to take a shortcut through some rough terrain, and, you guessed it, it happens to be near Camp Crystal Lake. I think Never Hike Alone has some pacing issues, as there's a lot of downtime with the lead, played capably by Drew Lighty, races over hills and woods for an extended amount of time before Jason even shows his hockey-masted head. But once Jason does show up, the cat and mousing is quite excellent. Lighty proves to be every bit the final girl here, avoiding one close encounter after another with Jason, with both of them coming out with all kinds of cuts, scrapes, bruises, breaks, and mortal wounds. Again, the late-in-the-game cameo by Tom Matthews is fun, but it functions more so as a teaser of what is to come. One thing I really appreciated in this ghost cut is the consistency of music throughout. I'm not certain, but this cut feels like they went back and not only added news reports connecting the stories, but they made the music flow through the 3 segments, and while it isn't Manfredini, aspects of the score feels like a conscious extension of his iconic notes. All in all, the ghost cut really does make everything flow better than I was expecting, and does suggest that the filmmaker, Vincent DiSanti, has an epic story planned out. If all things work out, he's got 3 more tales to tell in this Never Hike Alone saga. I'm hoping Womp Stomp Films is able to complete this series and bring this series of shorts to a fitting end. While we're still waiting for the courts to decide whose dick is bigger, Sean S. Cunningham or Victor Miller's, at least there are talented filmmakers like DiSanti who are picking up the slack and giving the fans what they really want. Never Hike Alone, the ghost cut, made for an extremely entertaining and thoroughly cohesive story that feels like it's leading up to something truly epic. Everything about this new ghost cut makes things feel more professionally done. I like this version of the film better than the 3 previous ones, all seen differently. This ties the whole thing together really well. That'll be it for today. Please chime in the comments and let me know what you think of this video, how on the nose or mind-numbingly wrong I am, or you can counter with your own review. If you like this video, please pound that thumbs up button. Share this video with your social media addicted pals. If you're looking for written reviews, you can find them on mlmillerwrites.com. Don't forget, I have 2 new horror comic book trade paperbacks you should look for. Grave Trancers is out right now, and Pirouette, collecting never-before-published issues, will be out in November 18th in only the finest of comic book stores. And be sure to subscribe to this channel and ring that bell for alerts to be the first to see my future videos. Thank you so much for your time, and take care.
You're doomed to live the life you're meant to be, stuck inside your reality. You're doomed. Oh, you're doomed. You're doomed. You're doomed. Live the life that you are meant to be. Live inside